the life I lived, I thought was normal. And it wasn't until I got into recovery that I figured out it wasn't normal. And I had some very good people who took me under their wing and showed me around and showed me what life was really like, being clean and sober.
To You Need a Counselor. My name is Julie Johnson. I am the president and founder of Heart and Solutions here in Iowa. We are offering outpatient mental health counseling services in our offices all across Iowa, over telehealth, in the schools here in Iowa, anywhere that you would need services. We can probably provide those. So give us a call if you are in Iowa and you need a counselor.
And I'm Chrissa Brown. I am Vice President at Heart and Solutions, in charge of our behavioral health department, where we go in home, in school, or telehealth right now as well. And I work with kids ages 4 to 18 on different behavioral skills that they set with their family and with the therapist. And this is our podcast, You Need a Counselor. So we are designed for people curious about counseling but have barriers keeping them from experiencing the benefits of counseling. Our mission is to share stories about counseling, good, bad, and indifferent, and spread the message that everyone can benefit from mental health and behavioral health counseling services.
So we post on Sunday nights. So every Sunday night at 5 o'clock Central, we will have a new episode out for you to either watch on YouTube or listen to wherever you listen to podcasts. And we like to batch those unpleasant tasks. So for me, laundry, I do not like to put away laundry. And so if I have to do it, I'm only doing it once a week. So if you're like me, go ahead and batch that laundry, put that away all on Sunday night. That gets you all prepared for the week. You can listen to the podcast while you're putting away the laundry. And then that gives you all week too to get in touch with your counselor. So if you have a counselor and you haven't been in to see them for a while, give them a call, get scheduled for this week. Also, if you decide after listening to this that, yeah, I need a counselor too, that gives you all week to go ahead and get scheduled with a counselor. So, okay, we are very excited today. We've got two guests today. We've got Greg and Cindy Cooper here with us today. Welcome, guys. Thanks for being
here. Thank you for having me.
Awesome. Thank you so much. So I'm going to brag on Cindy and Greg a little bit. So Cindy is, now if you have ever called into Heart and Solutions in the last year here, you have probably talked to Cindy. So when you hear, this is Heart and Solutions, this is Cindy, how can I help you? Now you've got a face for that super, super cheerful and friendly voice that we get to have on the phones. So Cindy is our administrative assistant for the whole of Heart and Solutions. So anywhere in the state that you call in and you need help, you're talking to Cindy. So this is a really great opportunity for people to kind of get to know you as well and kind of put a face to the name and to the voice. So we're very excited to have Cindy here. And then we've got Greg here also, who is Cindy's husband. Hi, Greg.
Hi.
Hi. So Cindy and Greg have been married for 5 years. They've been through a lot of challenging situations together. And it's really helped them as a couple to just build a very, very solid and very strong relationship and marriage. And gosh, Cindy is one of the biggest advocates for mental health that I have ever met in my whole life. So I know that Cindy tells everybody about counseling and tells everybody about the benefits of counseling. So it's really, really exciting to have you here. We are celebrating Greg. So Greg just had his 33rd year of sobriety, his 33rd sobriety birthday. So congratulations, Greg.
Thank you.
That is awesome. So that was just here in June this year, 33 years. That's amazing. So gosh, we have a lot to talk to you about. So tell us a little bit about, 33 years. Can you guys tell us your story here?
You don't have time for my full story.
I want to hear as much as I can. I
was an alcoholic and a drug addict, and I hit rock bottom at age 23 and didn't know what recovery was about, didn't know anything about that. I had seen counselors in the past, but I had never talked to them really about my drug use or my alcohol. And that was a subject that was really never brought up. So it was off the table. You know, if you didn't ask me about it, I wasn't bringing it up. And the life I lived, I thought was normal. And it wasn't until I got into recovery that I figured out it wasn't normal. And I had some very good people who took me under their wing and showed me around and showed me what life was really like, being clean and sober. So that's the long and short of it.
Yeah. I mean, gosh, how interesting, because, you know, as counselors, we try to get, you know, the full scope of a person, right? We try to kind of understand the full scope of a person, but addiction in any form, and when we say addiction, a lot of times people think drugs and alcohol, but gosh, food addiction, huge, right? And internet addiction is huge, and gambling addiction is huge. And in my family, it runs on both sides for me and both sides for my husband. And so my daughter's really, she's in trouble, but luckily she's got recovery on both sides too. But how interesting, I mean, what a great point, Greg, that, you know, you didn't bring it up to your counselors and they didn't bring it up to you, but that addiction struggle that you were going through was, I'm sure, impacting all aspects of your life. And so you were kind of in counseling trying to go, okay, well, let's do some problem solving and let's figure some stuff out. And you're going, I'm ruled by my addiction every single day. I mean, the counseling techniques, right, are just one side of it. But then you were able to build that foundation of sobriety, and then you were able to use some of those techniques, right? Does that sound fair?
That's pretty good. I mean, Cindy and I we're really open about the fact that we ride a lot. We're bikers. So one of the first people that was in my life was an old biker who had sobered up. And he's one that I had been around them when I was young. So I understood that when he said do something, it was do it and figure out why later. So it was a lot of little things that he had me doing that I really didn't understand. And then finally, over time, it came in and started clicking as to, oh, okay, I see. You know, I was never, and I still really am not a huge people person. I don't go out and wade into a crowd and say, hi, I'm Greg, you know. But one of the things I was made to do was go, and when I would go to recovery meetings, I was told to walk around and shake everybody's hand and introduce myself. And I didn't understand why until I realized that was getting me out of myself and out of my comfort zone to where I would at least talk to people. It's little things. And Cindy and I have talked a lot about what it's like on my end of the thing. And she's gotten to see what it's like through my friends, how it is a constant struggle. It's not because I have 33 years, I never have to worry again and I can go drink a beer. It's not that. I have to continue this recovery for the rest of my life. And, you know, at this point in time, I don't want to do anything else.
I love that. So you were, I mean, gosh, what a great example. Because I was hoping you were going to give an example. What a great example of something that is, it seems like, well, what does that have to do with drugs and alcohol, right? Like, and because I think when people don't understand addiction or, you know, what a struggle that is, it seems so simple to somebody who doesn't understand it or hasn't experienced it. They're like, well, just stop drinking then, or only drink a little bit, or like, oh, well, why don't you just like drink on the weekends or something? And it's like, you can't do that. But I don't know that, what a great discussion, because something as simple as introducing yourself to more people. And I think it's so funny that you're not, that's not your natural tendency, and you married Cindy.
Yeah.
Cindy is like the light of every room. So it's just
that
so
is
funny.
why, and maybe you don't know this about my wife, her nickname is Sunny.
That makes sense.
My nickname is Shady.
I love that. Are those your biker names?
Yes.
Yeah, that's our road name.
Yes. Oh,
Yeah.
I love that. Oh my gosh. Yeah, opposites do attract, and that is right on. But I love the example of introducing yourself to other people, because with what a great tangible way for that person that was mentoring you. He didn't say to you, well, you're all about yourself, you need to get out there and think about other people, right? He gave you something tangible to do so that you could see it, so that you could experience it for yourself. I think that's so cool.
And one of the counselors I saw right before I recovered, I had actually admitted I was an alcoholic. But then I did the backpedal as soon as I started talking to a counselor that I don't drink that much. I don't use that much dough. I'm okay. I can handle this. And the guy looked at me and he says, okay, maybe you're not an alcoholic. He says, can you stay sober for a day? I said, yeah. He says, can you stay sober for a week? I said, yeah. Can you stay sober for a month? And I'm like, yeah, I suppose. And he said, well, here's what I want you to do. Stay sober for 3 months. Don't take a drink of any of it. He said, if you can do that, you might not be an alcoholic. He said, at the end of 90 days, you can have one drink, anything you want. One drink. Okay. And he said, if you can put it away and walk away from it, you might not be an alcoholic. And I took that challenge. And like I said, I didn't know anything about recovery. So I actually did 90 days, no drinking, no drugs, no nothing. And at the end of 90 days, I had a fifth of tequila. And I poured myself a shot of tequila. And I put the cap on it. And I said, that's it. That's all I'm having. And I threw that shot glass back. And I woke up 3 hours later, 200 miles on my mom's car in Crossroads parking lot in Waterloo. No ideas where I'd been, what I'd done, with an empty fifth in the back seat. And that was it. I was an alcoholic. That's the most powerful thing I've got.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's amazing that that a counselor was able to demonstrate that to you, and again, in a way that that allows you to go, well, yeah, maybe I'm not an alcoholic, because you would say, well, no, it's not that bad though, right? All the minimizing that we do with that, and then say, well, yeah, maybe you're not, maybe you are, maybe you're a temperate drinker, maybe you're a heavy drinker, right? And so being able to say that, and then saying, yeah, like let them try for 9 months or 3 months, right? And try one drink, and gosh, that first sip, that's it for addicts. And I think that people don't always understand that. And I love when you're talking about, this is before you understood about recovery, and before you understood that, like, no, I'm allergic to that. Like, I can't have one, because if I do, I'm going to have the entire thing, and then it's another year of having the entire thing. And that's amazing that you were able to come to that. And then that was the start of your 33 years. You started working program.
Yeah, that was June 14th of 1988. And on June 15th, I quit drinking.
Wow.
23 years old.
Wow. Well, I was was gonna say you didn't look old enough to have 33 years. Like I just.
Oh no! Here we go.
But you were in your early 20s. That's amazing.
I was
because oh my gosh, that's amazing. Yeah, how wonderful. And so you were able to see firsthand that allergy and go like, oh man, okay, nope, that's it for me. Because for a little background, and for anybody listening, so I also work a program, but it's for food addiction, because I'm extremely allergic to certain substances, including salt. Salt is my biggest one. And I had a similar situation because I didn't want to be allergic to salt. Like that stinks. Nobody wants to give up salt. It's everywhere. It's in everything good. And somebody, I had said one time to somebody, I think I might have the allergy of the body to salt. And they said, do you really want to give up salt for the rest of your life? And I was like, no, hell no. And I went another year. Without giving it up. And then finally I was like, oh, it's been a year since I had that yeah, okay, I gotta try it, right? It was awful. That first 3 days was the worst of my life. I mean, I was like crying for no reason. It was terrible. And so, but I love that you were able to do that. And it is so, it's so cool that a counselor said that to you. Mm-hmm. That's amazing. I love that. And so tell us about, because you mentioned that, every day that you need to be actively doing this. So, and I think it's such a good point, because 33 years, you kind of think that you go, oh, well, you've been sober longer than you've been, in the drink. And so you go, yeah, like that seems like it might be kind of habit now. But like you were saying, it's an everyday, that like you're doing the habit thing every day. You're working it every day. Can you tell us a little bit about that, kind of like that daily process?
I guess for me, the thing I can never forget is I'm an alcoholic, period. I mean, that's something I don't forget. The other thing is, I remember what life was like when I was drinking, and what I have now is more than I ever dreamed I would have when I was drinking. I've achieved so much. I've gone back to college. I'm working on a bachelor's. I've got the job that I have been wanting for 25 years. I'm married to this. I mean, my friends all ask me how I got to keep her, and I keep telling her it's the medication I put in her coffee in the morning. So, but seriously, it's, for me, I'm going to be honest. There are times when I think about drinking, even after 33 years. What I was always told was play the tape through. Don't just think about that first drink. Think about what's going to happen. And that empty fifth, and losing my wife, losing my job, losing my motorcycle, losing everything I've got. That is me playing the tape all the way through. And that drink isn't worth it. Cindy has seen me pick up a Pepsi, and I'll crack it open myself. And I know it's a brand new Pepsi, but I'll drink it, it'll taste like it's got bourbon in it. And I'll pump it up, because I can't even deal with that, because anything that even tastes like alcohol, anything that smells like drugs or brings back that memory, I get away from, because I can't play with that.
Even the simplest thing, like when we used to go buy groceries, the alcohol aisle, that would be a trigger for him. He would, there'd be something on the other side, and then the other side was all the beer and wine and everything. And I'd be looking for something like chips or something on the other side, and I'd turn around and he'd be gone. And the first time that it happened, it freaked me out. I'm like, he left me to pay for these freaking groceries. And he was around the aisle, because it was just, it was a trigger for him. Yeah. And sometimes I notice, like, just at the right certain times of the year are triggers for him, and just a simple pop can opening, you know,
that occasionally will trip me too.
Yeah, it'll trigger him, and he'll look and he'll be like, it's just a pop, honey. It's just a pop. Okay. I get it. So now we got bottles.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, it's so because you're able to go, because that first drink, or in my case, that first bite, like that, it sounds great in our head when we only think about that moment, right? Like that one moment sounds amazing. But I love what you're saying about play the tape through, because knowing what comes after that, knowing that it's not just that first bite and then nothing else after that, it's all of these things that come with it. And for me, I can so relate with what you're saying, because it's almost like it's poison. There's poison around, right? When those things are around us. So, when I see like pizza or, birthday cake at a kid's party or so, looks beautiful. Like, I know it looks beautiful. I know it looks delicious, but it also looks like poison to me. Yeah. Not that one bite is going to be poison to me, but that one bite. And so one bite plus, the next year of eating that food is going, like my liver can't take, I had fatty liver disease at the age of 30, that was going to kill me. And so my liver can't take it. And heart disease is the #1 killer in this country. And heart disease is what's at the end of the road for me. That's what's at the end of that tape for me if I take that first bite. And so I love that analogy of play the tape all the way through. That's amazing. And that sounds like that really helps you every time.
Yeah. And Cindy she's incredibly supportive of me. Sometimes she will pick up on cues that I'm giving off that I don't even realize I'm doing. And she'll call me on it, and we know what to do, because I've been very open with her on, this is how I'm feeling. I can't explain it, but this is how I feel. At that point, there's no right or wrong. This is how I feel. I may not be able to explain it in the moment. We may not be able to explain it ever, but she's able to say, hey, you're being cranky. Okay. All right. I need to go out to the garage for a while. And that's what I do. I will go out to the garage and putter around for a while.
I love that what you guys are describing is this ability in a healthy relationship and in a supportive relationship to be able to communicate those triggers and communicate those warning signs, and then be able to call your partner out on them. So like, Joe will see me sometimes, like if he gets a fast food burger or something, like sometimes he'll see me linger, like my eye will linger right on it. Oh, yeah. And he'll be like, you're lingering. Like, that's not for you. I'm like, yeah, you're right. It's not like that. It's not for me, and it's poison for me, but it's fine for him. And so but those kinds of cues. And also when I'm being restless and irritable, like he knows that, and he goes, okay, you need to take a nap, right? Like that's usually my thing, is like, because you know how you get like hangry when you're tired, like that's my thing. And he will do the same thing. He'll be like, you need a nap, like go lay down right now, and so I love that modeling of that in this healthy marriage that you guys have, because you're able to say, okay, it doesn't have to be rational. Like what I'm feeling doesn't even have to be rational. It doesn't have to make sense. My partner accepts that that's how I feel, no matter why I'm feeling that way, right? I don't have to explain myself to them. I can just say, this is what's happening, and that my partner will respect that and will support that and will prompt me to use my own coping tools. So it sounds like for Greg, it's like taking a time out, going out to the garage, like spending a little time by yourself, working on something. Is your coping skill. And I love that. I think that's so awesome. And now, do you do the same for Cindy? Did she give you warning signs?
I plead the fifth.
That's a yes.
does. He will call me out, and I deserve it. He'll be like, "Are you all right? You're kind of mean and cranky." And I'm like, "Oh, just go out to your garage."
That's both of your coping skills. And Greg goes to the
Greg goes to the garage.
Yeah, Greg goes to the garage.
Well, see, my garage is called the doghouse.
Oh, perfect.
I got the lettering up on the door. It says Shady's Doghouse, because we used to have a doghouse for Bubby, and I had Bubby's doghouse, and I'm like, this could go both ways. So
Needs one. Greg sure gets one.
Yep.
Oh my
I
God.
don't mind.
Yeah, you can't have the dog show you up,
Yeah. Yeah. No doubt.
That's awesome. So you guys have been together 5 years, and gosh, you've gone through some stuff in that time together, and you've used a lot of that stuff to build your relationship and kind of get yourself to this this place where you're both supporting each other, especially in hard times. You want to talk a little bit about that, Cindy?
I would say, well, we met 7 years ago. We live 90 miles apart. And so trying to commute and everything, it was hard. And we got closer and closer and decided to move in together. So Cedar Rapids was our first choice, because we wanted to get in between. My home was Muscatine and his was Waterloo. So we thought, okay, Cedar Rapids is in the middle almost. So we had to, move 2 households to Cedar Rapids, and 3 storage garages. It was a lot, because in the process we had to sell his house and just go through a lot of things. And I was still learning, from him being an alcoholic, that, I had to take it slow. There were some things that I found out was just better to deal with myself than have him try and deal with it. And it all worked out, because he kind of left the stuff that I didn't even know I could do, to do. And I would say up until 2020, everything was going kind of good. And then 2020, we thought that was going to be our year, and it just exploded. And it was like, no, that was not our year. 2020, it started out good. Well, and then the COVID hit. I had started a new job, got into the new job about 4 months, and then COVID hit. And so we were trying to work with that. And then in the meantime, when I went back to work, because of COVID and everybody downsizing, he lost his job. And then a month after he lost his job, we were in a motorcycle wreck. We hit a deer. Wow. And I broke my leg, and I lost my job. Wow. And so it just all collided. And, we were doing really good up until that point. So good that I was able to set money back into the savings. And I had always calculated, I always wanted to save up to at least 6 months that we could survive. Yeah. And I never really expected to have to use it until that time.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then that's when it kicked in, because we only had his income, his unemployment we were living on. And if it weren't for, that saving up, and it's just a miracle that we both believe, because of him, in the higher power. He will take care of you, He does. He has his ways, and everything, we believe strongly, everything happens for a reason. And today we look back and we're like, we are blessed. We are very, very blessed. And that's when we really grew stronger, because, I had to rely on him, to take care of me while I was down with my leg. And, have to mentally, both of us have to mentally deal with, okay, we don't have jobs anymore. We have got to be on a very, very tight budget.
Mm-hmm.
And if it weren't for, our club family and his mom, at the very end, because I was like, okay, we're at the end of our rope here. We're cutting it short. We need to do something. And it just seemed like every, door was closed to us, but we made it. And he got his call in January, and I got my wonderful call in January, and everything started turning around, and we're just very blessed. Very blessed.
Wow. Oh my gosh. That's quite a year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
We were literally down to our last $100.
Oh
Yep.
my gosh.
Yep.
Wow. And
But
luckily Cindy was a saver. And so you had that, but oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Because you think of it and you think, that'll never happen. That'll never happen to us. We've got it so good. We're going so strong, and bam, it was just like, it took a mental toll on us. And that would have been the perfect time where we needed a counselor, because we were just like, okay, we'll get through this. We will get through this. And we did. And now that I think back, I don't think we fought once about anything.
No.
Wow.
That's impressive.
Yeah. Yeah.
We honestly, though, and I know for me, trying to take care of her and find work in the middle of that pandemic, and everything else it wore on me a lot. And if it wasn't for my club brothers and my occasionally going out to the garage and just having a total meltdown, and then going, okay, this is what I got. Turn around, go back in. This is my life. Let's go.
Yeah.
That's where it's at.
Yeah.
We had a saying when we were living apart, and we kept saying it when we were running through hard times. And we always said, one day closer.
I love that.
We're one day closer to whatever, but we're one day closer.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. I love that. And through that whole year, so both of you facing unemployment out of your control, because it was because of this, the whole world shut down.
Yeah.
And so both of you facing unemployment at a time where a lot of people were also facing the same thing. And then having hitting a deer on a motorcycle, and then both injured. Oh my gosh. And Cindy's like, oh my goodness.
Well, I got the least end of it. I was limping around for a month, 6 weeks.
Yeah.
But she had to have surgery on her leg, and she was completely down.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And through all of that, Greg, you didn't take a single drink. And
nope.
that's incredible, because if somebody's looking for an excuse, we can find any excuse to drink. We can, I could find any excuse to eat. I stubbed my toe. My daughter's being loud. I can find any excuse, right, to take that fruit bite. But oh my gosh, as far as excuses go, you had them there. You had plenty. There were plenty of reasons to drink, and you didn't drink through any of them. That's amazing.
Well, I don't take full credit for that, because I have a hell of a support system. And those are my club brothers. And, after we hit the deer, we had probably, 17 visitors in 24 hours.
Wow.
And then it was a week after my surgery on my leg, the derecho hit.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's
We
right.
lost
Yeah, you guys were in
power. Yeah. So it was just like, we were like, okay, what next? Give us all you got. What's your next shot? Because we lost power. And I mean, his mom, who is our angel, you know, her and her boyfriend loaded up his generator and brought it down here to us. They were on it the minute they knew we didn't have any power. You know, they had the generator, you know, unloaded in the backyard, and we had a tree, a beautiful cherry tree that was beautiful shade for our patio. We lost it, and I was sitting in a wheelchair just bawling because I couldn't do anything.
And I could barely limp around at that time.
Yeah.
And we were both trying to figure out how we were going to deal with this. And all of a sudden we hear a chainsaw out front, and it was one of my club brothers.
Wow. That is amazing.
He had driven down 2 hours.
Oh my gosh.
And brought his chainsaw.
Yeah.
And I said, what are you doing here? He says, I figured I'd show up because I knew you weren't going to ask.
I love that. I love that. I mean, that's what support does, right? That's what supportive people do. And that's amazing. And so helpful for recovery, right? To have that support. And know that, you know, Cindy, you said something about, you know, having faith that you're going to be taken care of. And when things like this happen, and when our support systems come through for us, we can see that in action, because, you know, it's not an accident that certain people come to help. It's not an accident that certain things happen the way that they do. And that feeling of being taken care of, right? And knowing, okay, I don't, like, alcohol never took care of me. Like, pizza never took care of me. Pizza just wrecked my life, seriously. And made me like super sick, and, you know, almost cut my life short. And you know, put my pregnancy at risk, put my daughter at risk. Like, that never took care of me, but it felt like you get that feeling of like, it's okay, that like, oh, it's all right. Feeling from it for about 6 minutes, right? and then it makes things worse. But being able to get that feeling of like, it is okay. All of these things are happening around me in the world, but I've got support here, right? And I've got a higher power that is like in control and is watching this whole thing, not only watching it, but directing it, and created this job loss, created the derecho, created all that stuff like years and years and years and years ago, right? Before you guys were even born, knew that was going to happen and knew why, you know? And I truly believe that as well. And you know, I mean, Greg, when we opened, you said like you're working your dream job that you wanted for 25 years. And that's incredible. And, you know, I can speak for this side of the Cindy working here equation. That has been a miracle for us. That has been such a joy. And I truly believe that the timing of that was on purpose. There's no other way. There really isn't. Like, I can't explain it. Yep. So
I totally agree.
I truly believe it. And what a great gift that belief is, that faith is, to be able to know, okay, like, we're both out of a job and neither of us can walk, and we have no power, and we have no water, and, you know, you can't get gas at the gas station because nobody's taking cars, or, you know, and you can't get ice anywhere. Like, it was, if anybody's listening outside of Iowa, derecho was a land hurricane, right? Yeah. And it took down the entire cities, and people were without power for weeks and weeks and weeks at a time. And so it was, I'm now picturing you guys in your house trying to do anything, right? After hitting the stair on a motorcycle. So it's amazing to me that you guys went through that and went through it completely clean and sober. And that means you got to feel all of that. Like Greg was talking about the pressure of that, right? I've got this gorgeous new wife who I love, and I want, and so like I want to take care of her. I want to be protecting her, and I want to provide for her, and kind of that pressure of feeling like, oh my gosh, it's not going the way I want, right? It's not going my way.
Exactly.
Yeah. And being able to
he was trying everything every day.
Yeah. And just being able to cope with those
I
feelings.
think it was over the year, I think I'd put in, what was it, 140?
140 or 150.
140 or 150 different job applications.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, me too, because we counted it up. And because we could see on Indeed and all the job, how many we counted them. And it's like, and nobody is calling us. Nobody's calling, and I had never thought. You guys gave me a chance. You made me step out of my comfort zone, because I thought I was going to be scheduling for a doctor for the rest of my life. I was like, that was the only thing I knew. And then when you guys gave me a call and gave me job description and everything, I was just like, I think I could do this. I think I can really go down this avenue. And thank God. I mean, I'm so grateful to you guys. I could tell you every day if I don't.
I feel like you do tell us most days.
Email or text.
Yeah.
I am. I'm just grateful. I don't know if it's just come with age, but I'm grateful for everything in my life. And we've been through too much loss that, we've learned to be grateful for everything.
Absolutely. It's amazing. We always say, we hire for attitude and then we train for skill, right? So, I mean, you had great organization skills and stuff like that, right? But like you hadn't worked in a counseling agency before, but that didn't matter because your attitude. So I always told this story about Cindy. One of the first questions I asked Cindy was like, why do you want to do this job, right? And Cindy was like, I want to help people. I want to help as many people as I possibly can all day long. Like if I can just do that all day long, I will be happy the rest of my life. And we were like, whoa, hire for attitude. That's a winner. Yes, we can train her to do whatever we need, right? But like in terms, it was amazing. And we were blown away by that when we went, this is a person doing it for the right reason. And in the mental health field, every person on that team needs to be doing it for the right reason. And so, whether you're calling and helping somebody with something that is going on administratively, or you're helping them to get signed up for counseling and making them feel comfortable with, because it's hard. Like anybody listening to this, you guys know it is hard. The idea of calling in and giving them your information and like, oh, I'm going to meet this therapist and they're a new person. I don't know who this person is, right? So being able to talk to you guys, when you call in, you're going to hear Cindy. Like you're going to get to talk to Cindy. And I mean, gosh, what a comfort that is, right? When you call in and I feel like I can hear your smile through the phone when you're the person who they get to talk to. So just amazing. So guys, if you could give a suggestion to anybody on the fence about either starting counseling or starting maybe a recovery program, if there's somebody maybe on the fence about that, what suggestion might you give to that person?
You first.
Me first? Okay.
Ladies first. You know this.
I mean, it takes a lot to come to terms that you do need help. Don't do it alone. There are wonderful people with this agency that can help you through anything. If they can't, they will find someone within the agency that will. They are awesome. Don't do it alone. You don't have to. It's just a phone call away. and they are there. They are there. They will be there on the other line. I will be there on the other line to help you through the initial and get you comfortable and know, you will be helped.
I love that. When you're calling in, there's sometimes this idea of like, oh man, is the person I'm talking to at this agency, like, are they going to get, that things are hard for me right now? Like, are they going to understand that? And I love hearing your story because yes, you will. You will understand that. You've been through hard times and you know what it's like. And I just love that when people call in, they're calling in on a bad day a lot of times, and that you're a person who understands that. It's amazing.
Yeah. And if they're crying, I totally get it. I, almost want to cry with them, and the last thing I, say to them is, you did a good thing.
Yeah.
It's good. And then you kind of hear the tone kind of go up a little. Okay. I have all the faith in, my team, our team.
Yeah. I love that. I love it. Thank you. Greg, do you have a suggestion for somebody who might be looking at starting a program maybe, or?
Be honest. That means not only be honest with yourself, but be honest with the counselor. Because you can BS yourself all day long. You can BS a counselor till they're blue in the face, but you're the one that has to lay your head down on the pillow at night. And if you're not resting easy, you're probably playing some games with yourself. Recovery is not easy. It takes commitment, it takes support, and it takes honesty. And there's all kinds of catch slogans out there that sound pretty stupid when you first come around, but after a while they start getting in your head, and then you start catching yourself actually saying them.
Oh yeah. I feel like I'm a walking paraphrase. Cindy probably hears me say them all the time. She's probably like, oh, that sounds familiar to say.
One day at a time.
That's right. Wonderful. Yeah, I love that about honesty because, when we're only responsible to ourselves. We're not responsible to that counselor, but nobody can help us until we're honest to ourselves about our addiction and about who we are, so I love that. Thank you guys so much for being here. This has been really, really wonderful. We loved getting to meet you, Greg, and getting to talk to you, Cindy. It's been really, really fun. So thank you guys so much.
Oh, thanks for having us.
Thanks for not believing all our stories.
I needed to hear it from you first, Greg. I needed to verify.
We're Greg and Cindy, and we need a counselor.
The cutest one we've had.
Oh my gosh, you guys are so cute. That is hands down the cutest one we've gotten. I love that.
Thank you.
So awesome. Thank you guys. Also, I need a counselor, and so does Chrissa. So you're in good company. All right. So if you're in Iowa, give us a call, 800-531-4236. And the person who you're going to talk to is Cindy. Yeah. So give her a call. And if you've got questions, if you're hesitant about it, if you're like, I don't know, tell Cindy that, man. She will help you out. So give her a call. Absolutely.
And like Julie mentioned at the beginning, we post every Sunday at 5 p.m. So you can watch us on YouTube or listen to us on Spotify or Apple, and do your laundry while you listen to us on Sunday night. And we can help prepare you to call a counselor that week for yourself.
Yeah, if you've got questions about counseling and you want to send us a message, you can send us a Facebook message at You Need a Counselor Podcast, or you can send us a DM on Instagram at You Need a Counselor Podcast. Also, if you've got questions for Cindy and Greg about anything we talked about today, or if you want to hear more about their story, which I know I do, so I'd love to have you guys back on. I feel like we could have done like 5 episodes here.
Yeah.
We would love to have you guys back on. And if you guys have questions or you have topics you'd love to hear Cindy and Greg talk about on the next time that they're on, send us a message there. We'll make sure to do that on the next go around.
So I'm Chrissa Brown.
And I'm Julie Johnson, and we need a counselor.
And so do you.
Bye.
Bye.